The role of parliamentarians will be critical for us to do anything. Now, we have a challenge in Nigeria. The presidential system of government recognizes the role of the parliament and the other arms of government. It is incumbent on us as parliamentarians to be able to function independently and optimally in the interests of the people. Fortunately, this has not really been the case because we have found a situation where the executive has largely influenced decisions and oftentimes made sure that they have taken policies that are actually driven more by personal interests than by public interests. So in order to make sure that the legislator does it well properly, this key roadblock must be removed. So now we go to how do you remove it? How do you make the legislator work so that we can get to where we want to be? One of the key ways was by legislation to make a devolution of power in various aspects of the Constitution was done. In the 9th Parliament, of which I was a member, we made sure that power was removed from the exclusive legislative list and put in the list where both states and federal government could participate in the power, either generation, distribution, or even the transmission. And that made us to also amend the Electricity Power Industry Act. And what that has done is that it has opened the vista of power in this country. And I think a few states have already benefited or already taken advantage of this. I think Tinubu State has passed their own power law and a few others. So, what this has done is that it has immediately highlighted the functions of lawmakers in ensuring sustainable energy generation and also to help us in our oversight. For where we are today and what we came to discuss, which is the CNG policy, there is the need, definitely, for us to critically look at the policy. The CNG policy, as was earlier enunciated by the keynote address, was a child of circumstance, born by the convergence of two things: the abrupt removal of the fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu, which led, unfortunately, to widespread difficulties and hardship for the people, and the availability of gas in Nigeria, for which we have also said that this decade should be the decade of gas. However, the policy for gas was not so well thought out, and therefore we did not really give it the proper legislative backing. Fortuitously, inside the gas policy that we have today, there is the issue of low carbon emission and cheaper energy source in the short term. The presidential initiative estimates that we will have 150,000 units of vehicles using CNG by the end of this year. I do not think that we are anywhere near that figure. It also envisages that by 2027, which is in barely 2 years' time, there should be 1 million units of vehicles and about 500 participant workshops that will take care of all this within the country. And in terms of funding, there was a target of $75 million to be used for this by the end of 2024, which is this year. We are also nowhere near. And there's a proposal that we should have about $250 million by 2027 to support the development of the CNG infrastructure. And this CNG infrastructure also envisages that we will have 2,500 technicians who know about how to do both conversion, repairs, and everything associated with CNG. It also envisages that by 2027, we should have 10,000 Nigerians fully certified in CNG. These figures, as I just stated, they look very, very good, they look very normal. But the big problem is that, like a few people have also mentioned here, the CNG policy has not permeated to the people. We seem to just talk about it, and everybody just says, okay, CNG, but nobody really knows. And now, just like Honorable Nena said, there's another fear that has come into the mix, which is all the explosions going on. For those who did not know how to get into the fabrication. And the fact that some countries are today now saying that they don't even want to go there. But there's something that we must point out. That is, CNG is not the end of clean energy. Actually, CNG is not clean energy. It's a transition for us to move from regular fossil fuel to that gas, and then to the cleanest one, which is using the sun, the solar, and other types of energy, solar wind, and so forth. So, while you can now say that CNG is more or less a temporary solution of our problem. But then, it is always one of the things that we see in this country, that we're big on plans and very small on implementation. We say all the big things, and we are very sure we want to do it, And there's commitment to go in, but getting to that place, it's a very, very far distance. A short while ago, when you're passing this particular airport road, you'll be seeing a long list of trucks parked on the road. And the very first time I saw those trucks, I was able to worry. I said, what are all these trucks doing on the road? It was later that it was pointed out to me that these trucks were CNG trucks, actually, that came to a filling station for CNG. And there was only one home for it. In other words, you had about a 3-kilometer stretch of trucks just waiting. And so you can see how many days at a time they have wasted just waiting to get the CNG. So what we want to do is to ask the government that it is necessary to put the infrastructure in place before you push everybody to move into the CNG. Our first duty as legislators is actually to start from the safety aspect. We must interpret and be sure that this is very safe for Nigerians. Because we know ourselves as Nigerians, and we know that sometimes we do not have very rigorous inspection of things that we use. And so if it is dangerous, it's going to be very difficult for people to buy into it. It's our constitutional responsibility to ensure also that proper funding is transparently used and utilized for it. So in the 2025 budget that is coming, I'm pretty certain that we will also see a part of it being substantially devoted to the matter of utilizing the compressed natural gas for transport. Our job as legislators is to push for adoption of these policies, the policies that deal with safety, the policies that deal with affordability. Because it's not just enough to say, well, use CNG. But if you, as a taxi driver, and you have to use CNG, you have to also put it into your vehicle. So what is the cost? How cheap can you make it? Those are the things that we are going to be looking at. And of course, we want to be sure that the incentives that are put go to the right hands and the right pockets. So as we address these transportation problems, I'm sure that will also affect the development of this country. And it makes things cheaper and helps us to be able to move from where we are today, where the cost of energy is so mind-boggling that most people have run away from it. The world is changing, and it is becoming increasingly clear that the future is a future that will be hinged on low carbon emissions, clean energy, and sustainable energy. Among all the multilateral banks, when we were in the energy conference a couple of weeks ago, it was agreed that the developed world should raise $16 trillion to be able to help us in the less developed world to be able to transit into cleaner energy. At the moment, there is about $6 trillion that is there already. We also have to have policies to be able to tap into these sources of funding. So we will, I can assure you, take our job very seriously to legislate for clean and sustainable sources of energy, and also, as a first step, carry out a review of the present policies and its disadvantages, so that we can get the people of Nigeria to buy into the policy. So I wish everyone well in this conference. And as we continue to seek for a cheaper way and a better way to give us cleaner energy, I hope that the takeaways that we're going to take from this conference will be able to help us, especially in the legislature, to be able to draft the proper laws to help each and every one of us.